Good morning, everyone. Our topic for today is all about the service setting. The service setting framework. The term service setting is used to describe the tangible physical environment in which a service is experienced. This environment gives vital, tangible, and intangible clues that help potential clients, customer, employees, stockholder, and opinion former understand a service character and ideology. So, the term service setting is ginagamit siya para ma-describe yung tangible environment kung saan nararanasan yung service. So, sa environment, nagbibigay ng mahalagang vital, tangible, and intangible. May mga pahiwatig na makakatulong daw sa potential ng client, customer, empleyado, stockholder, at opinion. Sinasabi din dito na naiintindihan ng mga former or datihan na yung mga service character at ideology. Next is types of service setting. It is often useful in determining the role function of a particular service setting to consider the nature of the anticipated consumer relationship with the organization. In this context, service can be classified in terms of two dimensions: the extent to which customer employees are present during service delivery and the degree of complexity associated with service consumption. Sinasabi dito na madalas kapakinabang yung pagtukoy ng role function ng isang particular na service setting upang makonsider yung nature of the anticipated consumer relationship. In this context, sinasabi din na yung mga service ay maaaring maiuri or mapabilang sa two dimension. Ang lawak daw nung kung saan naroon yung mga customer, empleyado na naghahatid ng delivery or service delivery na tinatawag, at yung degree of complexity associated na nag-uugnay sa pag-consume ng service. The role of the service setting. We have previously mentioned that the role that service setting plays in the helping position and differentiate a service provider. Given the intangible nature of many services, that the setting gives important clues about the organization. Consider the imposing portals of a bank corporate headquarters compared to the shop window of the local plumber. Each is different, but then the user groups of service provided are so very different also. One would expect the setting to reflect this. So, dito naman sa rule of setting sinasabi is nabanggit na yung rule ng service setting sa pagtulong sa posisyon at iba't iba pang service provider. Dahil sa madaling unawain yung likas na katangian na maaaring magbigay ng mga service, ang setting ay nagbibigay din siya ng magandang mga pahiwatig tungkol sa samahan. Kinoconsider din nito na nagpapataw siya ng portal ng punong tanggapan ng corporation yung isang bangko compare sa window shop ng local plumber. The service setting and consumer behavior. Like any other stimulus, service environment work consumer at cognitive, affective, and cognitive levels. In other words, they work rationally, emotionally, and behaviorally, psychologically. So, sinasabi dito sa service setting, tulad ng anumang iba pang stimulus, service environments ay gumagana lang ito sa mga affective and cognitive level. Sa madaling salita, gumagana sila ng may talino, emotional, at ugali or psychological. Cognitive response. In terms of cognition, the perceived service setting can play an important part in belief formation. The setting can provide vital clues and clues that convey meaning through what is referred to a object language. So, in terms of cognition naman, yung perceived service setting ay maaaring naglalaro ng isang mahalagang bahagi sa pagbuo ng paniniwala. Ang setting is maaaring magbigay ng mahalagang mga paghihiwatig o mga kahulugan sa pamamagitan ng pagtukoy ng object language. Affective response. In general, greater emphasis nowadays is placed on the affective or emotional response to the physical evidence to the service environment. How a consumer feels become an important consideration in the design of the setting. Sa pangkalahatan naman, ang ang effective response is nagbibigay din siya ng kasalukuyan or inilalagay siya sa mga nakakaapekto emotional na response na tugon sa physical evidence ng service environment kung paano yung pakiramdam ng isang consumer ay importanteng i-consider dun sa design setting. Physical behavioral response. In environmental psychology, there are two possible behavioral outcomes to the affective response approach or avoid pleasant emotional response leading to the former and unpleasant ones. The latter, those charged with the designing settings of service provider will most probably be tasked with eliciting behavioral response beyond that approach. So, sinasabi naman dito, sa psychological environment is mayroong dalawang posibleng kalalabasan. Ito yung behavioral outcomes na makakaapekto o diskarte. Pag-iwas or pleasant emotional responses leading na humahantong sa dating or hindi kasiya-siya sa huli. Parang pangit yung kahihinatnan niya sa huli. Ambient condition. These are elements of the service setting that affect our senses that can play significant role in achieving desired behavioral response. For example, a number of studies have demonstrated the effect of mosaic in supermarket on consumers' buying patterns. 14-15, it's appear that mosaic lulls the shopper into a semi-trance-like state where they are more easily persuaded to part with their money and spend time waiting in quest. So dito naman, ito yung mga element ng service setting na nakakaapekto sa ating mga senses. Maaari silang naglalaro ng isang makabuluhang rule sa pag-achieve ng gusto nilang behavioral response. Halimbawa, sa pagbahagi ng kanilang pera at paghihintay nila ng oras sa paghihintay nila sa mga pila or mga effort nila. Next is spatial consideration planning. Most design training is based on historical precedent and takes its ideas from either nature or mathematics. Precedent has as meant to the most common source of creativity has come from a vast visual dictionary that has evolved from concepts that have test and retest until principles are established. Dito naman sa spatial, karamihan sa pagsasanay ng design is based sa kasaysayan or kumukuha ng mga idea sa nature or mathematics. Ang ibig sabihin naman ng precedent na is most common source ng isang malawak na visual dictionary na nagbago mula sa mga konsepto na nasubukan na hanggang sa maitaguyod na yung mga principles. Space planning is an ideal world. The interior designer works alongside the architect from the initial planning concept stage. By doing so, coordination to the arrangement of the full of all the interior elements with the architectural features is assured. So, sa space planning naman, is ideal world. Gumagana daw ang interior designer kapag kasama ang arkitekto. Mula sa initial planning ng concept sa pamamagitan daw nito ay naisisiguro yung coordination sa arrangement at sa lahat ng pag-aayos ng mga architectural features. Sign, symbol, and artifacts. Service provider use signs, symbols, and artifacts to guide customer through the service delivery process. They signal to the customer to have behaved and where to go. New customers and probably seasoned users of the service would become disoriented, causing anxiety and distress if were none of these artifacts. So, dito sa artifacts, sinasabi, service provider daw is gumagamit daw ng mga sign, symbol, at artifacts para maging guide ng consumer habang nasa process ng service delivery. Sila din yung nagsasabi kay customer kung paano kumilos, saan pupunta, or sila mismo yung nag-guide kay customer. Signage. graphically transmitted message or signage are fundamental to communication in all areas, service sector, the visual appearance, the placing of physical construction, the color, lighting, and choice of typeface of all are all important and interdependently. So, sa signage, sinasabi dito, ito daw yung graphically transmitted message or signage ay mahalaga sa pagdating sa communicating lalo na daw sa lahat ng larangan ng service sector. Ang mga visual appearance, placing, physical construction, color, lighting ay choice of typeface ay mahalaga at interdependently. 3. Service setting. Financial service. The public interface with financial service, especially in banking and other high street institutions, has undergone radical change in the last generation. So, sinasabi dito sa financial is sila yung may mga service in public lalo na sa pagbabangko at iba pang mga mataas na institusyon. Sumasailalim din sila sa mga radical change sa huling generation. Next is the fast food restaurant. The fast food chain and a franchise have spread throughout the world. Previously, the menu revolved around the burger and fries. The quick service short order restaurant industry has changed out of all recognition since the early part of 1980s. Ang mga fast food chain at franchise is kumakalat na sa buong mundo. Dati daw, umiikot lang yung menu sa paligid ng mga burger at fries. Yung industry naman daw is mabilis yung service nila or mabilis sila sa mga maikling order sa mga restaurant. Ay nagbago na daw lahat mula nung ipakilala sila nung mga 1980s century pa. Hotels design and creative manipulation is complicated and lucid combination of a sensitivity and imagination that is woven seamless within architectural and economic parameters. These in turn are set by the social and cultural demands and past and present. So, dito naman sa hotel and design, creative manipulation daw, isang komplikado at lucid combination daw ay sensitivity at imagination na hinabi ng walang putol daw sa loob ng architectural or economic parameters. So, next topic is all about service quality. Service quality. So, definition of quality and implication of service quality. Quality has been subject of many and varied definitions, leading to the view that no one definition of quality is the best in every situation because each definition has both strength and weaknesses. In relation, the criteria such as measurement and generalizability, managerial usefulness, and consumer relevance. So, sa quality daw is naging paksa na ng marami at may mga iba't ibang kahulugan na humahantong sa pananaw na walang isang kahulugan ng kalidad sa bawat sitwasyon sapagkat yung bawat kahulugan daw is nasasabing may pare-parehong kalakasan or kahinaan. The transcendent approach. According to this view, quality is synonymous with innate excellence, absolute and universally recognizable. You will know it when you see it. It emphasizes quality as a mark of uncompromising standard. So, sinasabi naman dito, tungkol naman sa pananaw na to is yung quality daw is magkasing kahulugan ng mga likas na kahusayan. So, malalaman mo lang daw to kapag nakita mo na. Ito yung salita na ini-emphasize nila bilang marka ng uncompromising standards. Next is the product-based approach. The emphasis here is on quality as a precise and measurable variable. Any difference in quality that do occur reflect differences in the quantity of the sum ingredient or attribute possessed by a product. So, dito naman is yung dinidiin nila is yung ang diin dito is yung sa kalidad bilang isang prices at measurable variable. So, ano man daw yung pagkakaiba ng quality is nagaganap or sumasalamin sa pagkakaiba ng dami ng ingredient or attribute passes ng isang product. So, the user-based approach. The user-based approach, this approach starts from the premise that quality lies in the eyes of the beholder. Consumers are said to have specific wants or needs, and those products that best meet their preference are those that they view in having the highest quality. So, sa approach na to is nagsisimula naman yung premises na dekalidad. Sinasabi din dito na ang mga consumer ay may mga tiyak na kagustuhan or pangangailangan at mga produktong pinakamahusay na matutuganan or ma-meet yung expectation ng consumer. Kumbaga, gusto ng consumer is yung high quality, good product. Yun yung hinahanap-hanap ng consumer. Next is the manufacturing-based approach. The manufacturing-based approach, whilst the user-based approach to quality is rooted in the subjectivity of consumer preference. The manufactured-based approach, as the name suggests, focuses on the internal matters. It has come to be known as conference specification. User-based approach to quality, ibig sabihin, kalidad ng product na satisfy ang consumer. Kumbaga, yung manufacturer is tinitignan niya kung paano niya masasatisfy yung mga mamimili. Kung tatangkilikin ba ni consumer yung product na inilalabas nila. So, manufacturer is dun ginagawa yung product at minimake sure ni manufacturer na yung kalidad ng product is high and meron talaga siyang quality, kumbaga. Next is quality is value. The value approach regards quality is relative to price. Monroy, a leading authority on pricing, suggests that the buyer's prescription of value represents a mental trade-off between the quality or benefits perceived relative to the sacrifice perceived by paying the price. So, sinasabi dito naman sa value approach is tungkol sa quality na may kaugnayan sa price. Ang sinasabi daw yung sinasabing Monroy is yung isang leading authority patungkol sa pricing at pinakamahalaga ang buyer's prescription ay mahalaga sa kinakatawan nito, yung mga mental trade-off sa pagitan ng quality or benefits. Next is yung standards. Standard signified is a service setting, some form of standard for employee behavior, service employee conduct, knowledge, and appearance is one, albeit important, element in debates over the standard of service. So, sa standards naman, signified ng isang service setting, ang ilang form ay ginagamit sa pamantayan para sa pag-uugali ng empleyado. Dito nakabase yung pag-uugali at talino at appearance ay iisa. Hard and soft standards. The standard experience by customer of a service fall into two categories, hard and soft. And standards often includes involve counts of time accounts of how many, how accurately, how quickly. Two of quality Two of the 5 quality dimensions. See cervical later in chapter, particularly receptive to hard measure. So, sinasabi naman dito sa hard and soft is, ang mga pamantayang mararanasan daw ng mga customer ay isang serbisyo na nagbibilang sa dalawang category, which is yung hard at soft standard. At madalas na nasasangkot sa bilang or inirarason ng pagkilos kung gaano karami or kabilis at ka-accurate. So, the GAPS model of service quality. GAP 1 states that many service organizations simply do not understand what customer expect and what really matters to them. This gap can only be bridged through customer research and more particularly knowledge from frontline employees. So, sinasabi dito sa GAP 1 na maraming service organization ang hindi nakakaunawa kung ano yung inaasahan ng mga customer at kung ano talaga yung mahalaga para sa mga customer. GAP 2. Even where customer expectations are understood, management experience difficulty in translating that understanding into service quality specification. So, sa GAP 2 is, kahit na nauunawaan ng mga consumer or inaasahan ng mga customer, is nakakaranas pa rin ng kahirapan sa pagpapahalaga or sa pagpapaintindi ng service quality specification. So, GAP 3. Even when formal standards or specification for maintaining service quality are in existence, the delivery of the quality service is by no means certain. Sa GAP 4, sinasabi is yung advertising at iba pang uri ng mga communication ng service organization ay makakaapekto din daw sa consumer expectation. Nakakapahamak din daw yun sa yung mga pagpapangako pero hindi naman natutupad. GAP 5. This gap represents the key challenge to ensure good quality. The provider must meet or exceed customer expectation. So, sa GAP 5 naman is ito yung kumakatawan sa key challenge upang matiyak na good quality yung provider nang dapat matugunan or lumampas pa yung customer expectation.